Hello, entrepreneurs and Filipino accountant students and anybody watching live. Please give us a hashtag live. If you're watching the recording, give us a hashtag recording. Did I say that right, Vivian? If you're live,
Yes.
give us a hashtag live.
Replay,
Yeah,
hashtag replay.
yes. And so I am Joe Dichiara, CPA extraordinaire. You can see by my name there. And we have tonight one of the up and coming stars in the Philippine accounting world, former graduate of the Bedrock courses, and now a happy intern. How are you, Vivian?
I'm good. It's busy this
Yes,
week, but it's okay.
yes. So where do we start? Let's start with where you were born and where you're living now.
Okay. So I was born in Manila, but I grew up in the province of La Union, where I completed my primary and secondary education. And then I moved back to Manila for my tertiary education until I graduated and started working. So currently, I still live here in Manila with my family. So I am
Awesome.
a I am a city girl.
Yes, city girl. I like that. I'm a city boy. So, what did you take in college?
I took up Bachelor of Science in Accountancy.
Okay, that makes sense. I interviewed another of our interns. She's actually in the marketing department, and she's doing graphic design, and she also graduated with an accounting degree. So that, yeah, I'm like, you're using different sides of your brain. That doesn't make sense. But so tell us. So you just recently graduate?
No, I graduated in 2014.
Oh wow! So you've been out there for a while. What were you doing before you started to take our courses?
Okay, so let me share my story. So way back when I'm reviewing for the board exam, I worked as an accounting clerk in a nonprofit organization. So I assisted in the billings and bank reconciliation weekly report. So when I became ECPA in 2015, I applied as an audit associate at an auditing firm. So I assisted in conducting financial audits for our clients using the firm's audit methodology. So I help examine, analyze, and interpret accounting records to prepare financial statements, provide recommendations, or even evaluate the statements prepared by other bookkeepers and accountants. So I gained exposures handling clients in the finance sector, such as banks, non-life insurance, microfinance, loan companies, nonprofit organizations, as well as BPOs, agribusinesses, renewable energies, and homeowners associations. So after that, I became curious about IT audit. So I transitioned from the finance audit to an IT risk advisory role. So I got involved in reviewing internal control processes. So since most companies are using software in their processes, which are prone to various risks, such as viruses and malwares, we had to ensure that companies had IT securities, controls, policies, and procedures in place just to mitigate those IT risks. And then as an IT auditor, being in an advisory role, so I had to make recommendations on how clients could improve their internal processes. And then when I got
Okay,
engaged in
hold on,
2019,
hold
okay.
on, hold on, because my head is starting to spin already. You have a really intense background, and I honestly I had no idea. Uh, I'm we're doing this. I started actually meeting with our interns from both departments, from marketing and from accounting, just so I get a better idea of who's actually working at Bedrock. And we
Mhm.
met, and I don't think you told me any of this stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do it again. But yeah, you have a very, very interesting background.
Mhm.
It's pretty impressive. Now, these are all Philippine companies that you were working with.
Yes, in an auditing firm,
Okay.
we work with clients.
And I have to say, we do have your you're gonna have a following now. You're gonna have fans, and they're watching now. We have Mariel, we have Eileen, we have Janine, and we have Valida, and they're all saying hi, pretty Vivian.
Hello.
So they're all here to support you. Okay. So yeah, so you've done accounting work
Mm-hmm.
for a whole variety of industries, and then
Yes.
you graduated to the other side, the auditing side, and then you started doing
ID
the
audit.
the technology audits, which is really interesting. So
Mm-hmm.
you got to see what I would say the guts of these companies. You got to see all of the uh, not only the results
Mm-hmm.
of the financial reports, but you got a deep dive into their actual accounting procedures,
Yes.
correct? Which most people don't get that kind of exposure.
Mm-hmm.
What we do at Bedrock really is on a much smaller scale. We help people create their own accounting systems, but most of our clients are solopreneurs, so it's as simple as it can get, and yet they still get confused. So give me an idea. I mean, you were working with banks, BPOs, so these are larger institutions, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What was the biggest, and let's go by employee size. What was the biggest company that you had to, number one, do accounting for, and then number two, had to audit?
Okay. So one of the biggest in the finance audit is in the non-life insurance. So it's um, the companies here are maybe the non-life insurance company we've audited is one of the top non-life insurance in the Philippines. So so that's for the finance audit. While for the IT audit, a bank. So it's also in one of the top banks here in the Philippines that we did IT audit.
That must be intense to be doing the technology audit for a bank because of
Yes.
all of the fraud. And
Yes.
and I've gotten familiar with the banking industry here because I've had to, I opened up a corporation in the Philippines and I have a personal account, and the hoops that they make you jump through here is nothing compared to the United States. I closed one of my personal accounts, and I go up to the teller. I think there was 900 pesos left in it. So they said, okay, just make a check out to yourself. And I signed it in front of him. I endorsed the back. I gave him my passport and my driver's license. And he looked at the signatures and he said, they don't match. You need to sign it
Mhm.
again. I had to sign it 5 different times. And after the fourth time, I said, I'm signing this in front of you. I mean, are you trying to tell me that you don't believe that I'm Joe Dichiara? So I still don't get that. But maybe you could explain. What are uh, because you were auditing this, you were auditing the procedures. Why did that guy make me sign the check 5 different times?
Well, they wanted to make sure that you're really that person. I'm not sure why the teller asked you to sign uh, several times on that one, but here in the Philippines, you really have to sign the documents very similar with the signature you had on your IDs. Because if it doesn't match, then they would say that maybe it's a fake ID or you're not that person.
I know. I just thought, yeah. Uh,
It's
so
part
I
of their procedures.
validate. So Eileen
Yeah.
was a bank manager for 14 years. I knew it was to validate, but I just thought it was, come on, I'm signing. And yeah, because I talked to my coach about this, and he run a 100, $200 million company, and he said, "Listen, I'll sign. I could sign 100 times, and none of them are going to match." But I just felt like, I don't know if that guy got in trouble before, or it was just and even the contracts, and maybe you had to look at contracts
Mhm.
in the United States. You sign the last page. Here, when I signed leases that were
Mhm.
like 30 pages long, and I had to sign 30 times. Did you
Yes.
like come across that also?
You also have to check that one if there are signatures on the pages, each pages, so that there's no like additional clause that was missing.
So let's explain to people, because we do have, and if anybody has some questions, Vivian has a really unique, intense type of experience. So if you have any questions for her, please put them in the comments, and we'll try to stump Vivian tonight. So let's talk about the audit process, because and I couldn't stand auditing. I
Mhm.
had to do it to get my experience, to get my CPA license. And you needed 2 years of straight audit experience. And it took me 4.5 years to get 2 years of audit experience. But so, in a nutshell, you're verifying that the internal controls are in place, so that the financial reports that people are looking at are actually accurate, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Can you elaborate on that? Like, what are some of so are you out there like looking for fraud, or are you just
No.
looking for weaknesses in the system?
Okay. So first we have, if it's a financial audit, we have to be sure that uh I mean finance audit and fraud uh auditing is very different. So in the finance audit, we just have to check if the financial statements or the transactions are reliable and accurate. So it's not like 100% searching for any misconduct of the clients. So
No,
in the
okay, so
yeah.
that's a good point. So a
Mhm.
fraud investigation is really completely different
Different,
than
yeah.
just a financial statement audit. And then I want you to tell us about the technology audit. So I find it interesting, because some of these companies, they literally have millions of transactions, right?
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
you have to go from the actual source of the transactions, and do you actually follow the transactions all the way through to the financial statement?
Okay, so for the finance audit, we do sampling. So we have a testing sampling tool that we use, and then if, let's say for example, for a whole year, we've reviewed, there are controls in place, and we think that it's okay. So we just instead of doing substantial checking of the documents, we just get a few transactions, and then check with their processes or internal controls in place if they had followed through that process, and if that is correct when it was generated in their financial statements.
Okay, yeah. So you take a sample size, and then if you see something's out of sync, you're going to increase the sample size, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then what about like the contracts? I mean, these companies have big offices. They might own, they probably own all kinds of assets. Are you actually like going through all the contracts and making sure that all of the assets and the liabilities have been recorded properly?
We also do sampling of that one, and then sometimes we do um what you call field work to check if that really exists.
You know, I remember we had, I was on an audit team once, and it was a gas station company. This guy owned about 40 or 50 gas stations, and they actually had a huge tank with all the gasoline in it. And the senior auditor actually climbed up the tower, and he, like, I don't know if it was like a dipstick, but he checked how much gasoline was actually in the tank. Did you ever have to do something like that?
Not on the tank, but with in terms of the renewable energies, we go to their place where that solar panels are, and then we check them.
You're
We,
actually checking, like, and I remember another place we did this was a food company. They provided millions of dollars worth of food to schools and universities. And I remember we had to do an inventory.
Mhm,
I hated inventories. So yeah, so you have to actually verify that this stuff exists. Pretty
mhm.
interesting. So tell me about the. Did you ever do a fraud audit?
No,
Okay,
we didn't.
because I know I've done some forensic accounting, and that's when you try to catch people, lying. And yeah, it's pretty in the United States. It's pretty easy to catch them. Uh, they make all kinds of mistakes, and they leave obvious breadcrumbs. Uh, Luz is here. Luz, you're supposed to be on vacation, so yeah, put in the chat. Can you send us some pictures of Cebu? Because I want to make sure that you're actually on vacation. So let's get into, and then we'll spend another minute or two on this, and then I want to talk about what possessed you to get into Bedrock with the kind of background that you have. The the technology audits,
Mhm,
because I don't, and so people are trying to hack into me all the time because I'm an accountant. Okay, I have
mhm.
client sensitive data. They actually, and I know this for a fact, maybe I shouldn't say this publicly, but I'm pretty certain the IRS got hacked. So companies like Amazon, Facebook a couple of months ago was they hacked Facebook. Uh, is that the kind of thing that you're auditing for? Like how secure are their systems?
Um, the internal processes that they had in place, not just only on their systems, but overall processes of the company. It's not only related in the accounting, but for the whole process of their business.
Okay, so it's more like the standard operating
Yeah.
procedure,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Maybe we'll have you doing that for us because we have a whole, it's probably hundreds of pages long now, detailing every single procedure we have. And yeah, so now that I know what you can do, you just volunteered for that job. So let me ask you, because we have a couple of people on our staff. Rona's here; she's one of them. Agnes, I mean, they work for larger companies with backgrounds that I was surprised brought them to our company because we really deal with the smallest companies that are out there. So what? Because I'm looking at you, and I'm like, oh my God, you could probably get a big job with a big company, doing this stuff for a big salary. So why did you come to Bedrock and decide that you want to do U.S. taxes?
Mm-hmm. Maybe I'll just continue what my story earlier about my
Okay, I'm
background.
sorry.
That will
So,
answer why I'll go from a big audit
oh,
and then why.
okay, go ahead. I'm sorry because I find it all very interesting. So let's
Yeah.
finish your story. Thank you.
Yeah, so my story earlier. So when I got engaged in 2019 before getting married, so I decided to quit my job as an auditor. It's a personal reason because I wanted to prioritize my soon to be family over work. So as you all know in the auditing, most of the time you are in the office doing field works, and my thinking was that I didn't want to miss out any single milestone I have with my future family. So that's the reason um I wanted to be available for them. So that's the big jump why I like shifted from like having these big opportunities for me ahead, but I tried to like switch to being self sufficient or freelancing per se. So after that, I mentioned earlier, I started exploring freelancing world already. So when I first tried to search or explore that thing, I'm not sure really what service I offer. So I've already heard online jobs, even way back in college, primarily associating it with data entry, typing jobs, because that's what my friends do, typing jobs during college. So since then, I have a very limited idea what freelancing is when I move out from the auditing firm. So I enrolled actually on a general VA course. So I have experience with the SMM like that, marketing, and so. But I still don't know what niche I will offer with as a freelancer. So um I asked my friend an idea. She told me, why not study QBO and get certification? Probably you might get um idea on what you want to offer. So okay, I'll try QBO then. And then why bookkeeping? So I think I haven't shared earlier, but when I mentioned that I transitioned from finance audit to IT audit, one of the clients assigned to me needed business process review. So that time, they are also migrating their systems from QuickBooks Desktop to NetSuite Oracle. So I had to review whether the new system in place accurately captured their current business operation processes and if it was working correctly on the new system. So I had the chance to explore how to use that system, and then that's it. I finally had an idea that I'll go with the online bookkeepings, and then I believe maybe I have a talent for quickly learning the new application or system application. So it's not to brag, okay? So I just wanted to share that I feel I discovered that this is my God's given talent. So when I moved now from being unemployed to a freelance bookkeeper, I actually had an experience working with the clients using different tools like the Zero, QuickBooks Online, Wave, Sage, and NetSuite, even other app integrations with these softwares like the Amazon
Okay.
Seller Central,
Can I
Shopify.
interrupt you there for a
Mhm,
second? Because I think you shared something that's extremely important. Uh, you said that you felt like this was your God-given gift, right?
mhm,
And actually, when you're saying it, you have a smile on your face. Uh, and I think who said it? Zig Ziglar said, if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life,
mhm.
right? So you seem
Yes.
like you really enjoy learning the new systems, right?
Yes.
And then implementing them. So yeah, I think you're in the right. Uh, I like to call it the right pond. Okay. And those systems, let me tell you, NetSuite is not. It's a really high-end, sophisticated accounting software, right?
Mhm.
So to go from QuickBooks Desktop to that's like a huge, huge jump.
Yes.
So, yeah. All right. I'm sorry. I just want to make that clear to people that You did all this other stuff. You had such a wide range of experience, and then you found something that you love, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so let's get to where you found Bedrock and you decided to, so how would I say this? And it's not meant as an insult to you or, but you went from like the highly sophisticated, brain torturing type of work, and then you just took our payroll course. So,
Payroll and I also enrolled in the 5-week US
yeah,
course and
yeah.
even the bundle in 13-week course.
So it's not like I know it's different because I know I
Mhm,
asked Agnes too, and she said, I think pretty much that she just wanted the challenge, you
mhm.
know. So what? So okay, I understand your journey now. I'm flattered that you picked Bedrock in our courses, and then now you're an intern with us.
Mhm.
So I'll let you finish your story now. You're doing a great job.
Okay, so let me just share with you my freelancing. No, or do you want to know my experience, the client experiences I had?
Well, we only have a couple of more minutes. I want to, and we could do this again because
Mhm.
you're an interesting interview. Uh, so, first off, how did you find us? And I'm assuming your experience was positive because now you decided to be an intern with us.
Mhm. Okay, so how did I find Bedrock? So first off, just to have like a view overview. So I'm already a self-employed, so I've been doing also tax preparations for the Philippine clients. So since I've been doing bookkeeping already, I wanted to upskill my knowledge not just on the Philippine side and not just offering bookkeeping on my international clients. So I found Bedrock because I wanted to like also target US market and try to offer my service like bookkeep. I already know bookkeeping service, so I wanted to add a value on it. So that if they ask me any questions about the ta- taxes, I can answer them, and I'll be more confident to say that what I'm telling them is I know and I learned it from your courses.
Nice. So I just posted what Josie put up there. The legend Vivian. Yes, and the best is yet to come. Uh, so right now, you said you have your own agency. Basically, you have your own clients, correct?
Actually, I'm still a self-employed, so not yet an agency, big agency.
Well,
So I'm a
okay.
one, yeah.
So you're self-employed.
Mm-hmm.
You have your own clients.
Yes.
You're a sole proprietor. Okay, I'm glad that because there is a distinction, where and now I'd like to talk about Jumpstart because you were one of the award winners at the grand launch. Uh, so with Jumpstart, we've come up with there is a sequence, and I went through the sequence. First, you work full time for an accounting firm, you get the experience, then you get your first client. When did you get your first client?
In 2019, around September, October.
Were you still working full time?
No, I work independently with all of my clients.
Oh wow. Okay. So now were your clients from prior experience, or did you go out and get new contacts and get clients?
I'm sorry, I didn't get that one.
Well,
It cut out.
so when you're in an accounting firm, you're handling all different clients.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when you leave, the clients like you and they give you work. Is that what happened, or did you get somebody that you had never worked with before?
Um, Somebody didn't work before.
Okay, so basically, okay, that that's good. That's good. So you got your first client. Was it a big client or just like a small client?
Um, LLC, LLCs, individuals too. Not
Okay.
that big, but it's okay.
Okay.
Mhm.
It kept you busy
At first, because it's my first time doing the online bookkeeping, and then it's my first time to experience the industry that they have. Because my first
okay.
client is in the e-commerce.
Okay. Was a US client?
It's a UK client, but during that time, he's planning to put up a a US branch.
Let me ask you, how did that feel when you got your first client and then you got your first payment?
Mm, it feels energizing.
Because sometimes, for me, it was like I'll never forget. I got a check for $25 from one of my college friends for doing his personal income tax return. I was like, oh my god, I actually got paid to do somebody's tax return, and it was like I want to do this more. So you get your first client, and then you decide you're going to start getting more clients, right?
Yes. Actually, at
Okay.
first, actually first for the international clients, it's a no. But my friend advises me that if you're a freelancer, you have to have at least more than two clients to
Yeah.
sustain.
So yeah, if you want to support yourself, if you want to eat.
Yeah.
So you could actually, so sometimes, and I want to make this distinction for people that are watching Philippine accountants, and that's really who this is for. Uh, you could become a remote worker, like the people that are full time with Bedrock. They're not really freelancers.
Mhm.
They work full time. They get the security, uh, being part of a team. That's a remote worker. Freelancing is when you have several clients, and you could be a remote worker and also be a freelancer. I just want to make that distinction. But so you're a freelancer. You start getting clients. Now, where did you get these clients from? Were they from like onlinejobs.ph, Upworks, or were they from actual contacts?
So my first client, I got it in online jobs, and then the succeeding ones are the referrals from them already. So
Oh,
even if I left them, they still recommend me to their
that's
friends.
great. And this is what I teach people about marketing and accounting business. Most of our clients come from existing clients or people that we know. So now you're a solopreneur, and then the next step is to become an agency owner. And that it's a big step because now you got to start hiring people. It's a whole nother skill set. You realize that, right?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
because it's not only bookkeeping that you do. You also have to you have to be a marketer. You have to be like overall. You have to do it at
You want to know
first.
the hardest thing for me? It
What?
was hiring people. I didn't know how to hire people. I didn't know what questions to ask. I would usually hire the first or second person that I interviewed, and then just pray that it worked. So that's I had to learn how to do that. I had to learn how to do that. So Jumpstart. What we've narrowed it down to
Mhm.
is Jumpstart is all about taking Philippine accountants and showing them how to start and build their own agency. But that's not for everyone. So you can come to Jumpstart, learn how to become a remote worker, get your own clients, become a full fledged freelancer, or you can go and become an agency owner. What's your plan?
Um, I'm looking at mm, having a lean team, not really like more on the agency side. Like I'll become a hiring person because I really that's also my weakness. I don't know how to hire people.
Okay, but you realize it can change.
Yes.
it can change.
Mm-hmm.
See, when I started, when I was 10 years old, I wanted to have a big company. It only took me 5 decades to get here. Hopefully, it won't take that long for you. But yeah, so, we have, I think, 15 full time team members now. We have a marketing department, an accounting department, and we have a whole bunch of interns like you. So yeah, it's different than just handling a few clients on your own.
Mm-hmm.
But I think we've covered a lot. I'd like to have you back again if that's okay.
It's okay with me.
Okay. And I just want to say, Coach Yan Yan is here. Good evening, Coach. And Glenn, this a friend of yours? Go go go, Vivian.
Yes.
Okay, so you have a lot of friends. A lot of people are rooting for you here. Uh, so, any words of wisdom for people that are watching? Uh, any words of advice?
um, my advice is be open, open for new learnings, have an open mind and an open heart. And because continuous learning makes you younger. And
Yeah,
yeah, and be authentic, just be you in whatever journey you're doing.
yes. Very, very good sound advice. So, I want to thank you, Vivian. This has been a pleasure. I look forward to watching you grow. And that's our story. We're sticking to it, folks. And God bless. And Vivian, just don't leave. I want to chat with you for a second.
Sure.
Again, if anybody has any questions, if you're on this chat, if you have any questions for Vivian, you could just put them in the chat. I'll make sure that she gets them. And as always, what I'd like to do is invite anybody to book a chat with me. If you have a question about Jumpstart, about being, learning how to become a freelancer, or if you have a client that you have some particular issue with, you can book a chat with me. I'd love to talk to you. And you can always visit bedrockbusinessbuilders.com if you're interested in Jumpstart or any of our courses. And here is the Jumpstart uh, URL. So, again, God bless and have a great weekend, everyone. If you're in the Jumpstart Premium, we will see you tomorrow uh, for the actual launch, official launch of Jumpstart. Thank you, everyone. Good
Thank
night.
you.